in the love of liberty, in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare. Side by side we stand, islands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Heavenly Father, we come before you at the start of this new day, giving thanks for life, for health, and the opportunity to serve through this station. We ask for your divine presence to guide us in all we do. Bless this broadcast, that it may be a source of inspiration, joy, and unity to all who tune in. Whether near or far, may our words uplift, our music heal, and our message bring light to those who need it most. We pray for our listeners wherever they may be. Grant them strength for the day ahead, peace in their hearts, and success in all they put their hands to. Cover those traveling with your protection and those at home with your comfort and provision. Lord, may everything we do bring honor to you and be a blessing to others. Guide our steps, bless our efforts, and let this station be a vessel of positivity and hope. In your name we pray. Amen.
Your voice, your soundtrack, your station. New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
On the table, I hope you buy it. Me and the boys come to give you a parang. We ain't even till the liquor done. Oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. Come on fellas, let me take a next one. Oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. We have about 10 months to clean. Oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. We drinking from paint to kerosene. Oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. It's Christmas, Merry Christmas. Had to leave the man house quick. He say he wife was feeling sick. That same night she was lying in the quillet. Well, if you think that he gets away, oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. We go in by he and spend the whole day. Oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. We eating and drink everything he bring. Oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. When we leave there, he mustn't have a thing. Oh yo yo, yeah yeah yeah. It's Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's Christmas, Merry Christmas.
And of course, we urge you and we appreciate you. And yes, start your day right with us right here on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, Heartbeat of the Caribbean. Let's take you above and beyond. Everybody, good morning. Neighbor, good morning, wherever you may be right about now. Good morning. Good morning, Trinidad, Tobago, neighbors in the Caribbean, friends and family streaming all around the globe. Good day to you, and of course, thank you so much for being here with us on the net. As always, I want to say much thanks and much thanks to the Heavenly Father for bringing us together for another day. Everything that we do, dear God, let it be a blessing, honor to you. Sir Charles, that's me. Happy am I to be here in your company this midweek Wednesday. Glad to be in your company here, people. It's good to have you. Remember, this is your Get Up and Go. We welcome everybody right now to the breakfast show.
Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The breakfast show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line, let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Good vibes rolling through the air. The breakfast show, energy everywhere. We talk, we laugh, we make you think. Grab your doubles or your morning drink.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Richard, I'm there, Mike, this morning.
Yeah, I said good morning to Charles. I was waiting for you to play the video.
Oh gosh, and I said I'd talk about that. I forgot.
That's why I delayed entering. I said, okay, he's going to play the Hump Day video now, but you weren't consistent, were you?
No.
Oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's Hump Day.
Woo-hoo!
Okay, so there we are.
Yes. There we are.
All right, so good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Good morning to our listeners and viewers, wherever you are across the planet, whether it's morning, evening, or night, or afternoon, whatever it is, and whatever type of weather you're having, wherever you are. A special good morning to you from us here at the Breakfast Show. And good morning to my co-host, Wendell and Charles. Good morning, guys.
Yeah, good morning to you, Richard. And Wendell, getting back with us. Good to have you, Wendell. And everybody else tuning in from your different spaces. Gael family, good morning to you. And thanks, everybody, for being here.
Yeah, morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and good morning, listeners and viewers. For a while there, I thought you all didn't want me back in the show. I was backstage for quite a while.
Serious?
Yeah. I said, well, okay, maybe they're not seeing me, but then when Richard came in, I said, for sure he would see me. And then he was concerned about the Hump Day video, and I said, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah. I was waiting for him to play the Hump Day video, so he kind of caught me a little unawares. I said, but wait, isn't he playing the video?
Yeah, I realized that. And that's because, in making that other switch back between the music and the stuff, it just caught me at just like a couple of seconds going down.
Right.
All right.
Well, just in case you didn't know, it's Wednesday. So
it is Wednesday. It's another gloomy morning. Yesterday it rained all day.
It was a beautiful day yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yes, but you didn't enjoy that rain?
Well, yes and no.
Well, I enjoyed that rain.
I don't know if the rain caused an outage in my area last night, Richard. I don't know if it affected you up that side, but there was a there was an outage around 1 o'clock this morning. I heard an explosion actually, and it was gone for like 3 hours. It didn't come back till minutes to 4, and it has affected my internet again because my flow is completely down. I have to depend on a secondary internet this morning. You know what I mean? So yeah, I don't know what I heard. TNTech in the area around 3:30 or thereabouts, and then about 15-20 minutes after it came back. So I don't know if it went all up Arima.
Well, I mean, I would have been sleeping, but not that I'm aware. No.
But the explosion is what woke me up.
Yeah, so it maybe was something localized in your area because of that explosion.
Yeah.
But you all seem to have a lot of outages in your area, Wendell.
Yeah.
In your area. Yeah.
We didn't for a while, and then just like that, it started happening again, you know. And now it's knocking out my flow. My flow box refuses to come back on this morning again, you know. Anyway, we're happy to be in the land of the living. Happy birthday to former Member of Parliament, Deputy Speaker Esmond Ford, Candida Berman, former Councillor Eldon Coker, he was at the San Juan Laventille Corporation. Danny Marie, Keon Williams, he was also a former councillor. Miss Joanne Spence, she's a psychiatrist. We would have interviewed her already. Randall Sampat, Dion Boko, who was also a former councillor in Port of Spain. And Matthew Ash and Trisha Shallery. They are all celebrating birthdays today. Also Michelle Ragu, all celebrating birthdays today. Have an absolutely fantastic day today. All right?
Happy birthday to them all, you know.
Yeah. But I know you have good news, Richard.
Yeah, well, I can go straight into the good news, and then we'll be right back.
Theory. Life is like a train station. People come and go. Some stay for a few stops. Some ride with you for miles. Some leave before you're ready to say goodbye. But every person teaches you something, even if they're not meant to stay forever. The key is knowing when to hold on and when to let them catch their next train, because not everyone is on the same journey. And that's okay.
That video is too short, Richard?
Huh?
That video is too short.
It should say more.
Yeah, type a message out of this. Oh.
It could say a lot more. That's a lesson I've learned over the last few days. So let me just explain to people. My apologies for the last couple of days, but I was just trying to figure out. I was just trying to get Wendell recentered. So I know a lot of you all would have sent me messages that I have not read as yet, and I probably won't read. Or even if I read, I may not respond to, simply because I just need to deal with Wendell for the time being. I've been dealing with too many people in the past and not sorting out Wendell. It's time for me to sort out Wendell. And Trinidad and Tobago is actually just so stressful now for me that it's almost embarrassing. There's no good news coming out of Trinidad and Tobago lately. None. The politics is the absolute worst. People are selfish and greedy and ungrateful, and it's depressing me more and more and more. And I'll be very honest with you. And I even thought of that. What is the point of coming on radio and just having to deal with all this bad news every day and all this stress, this murder, this killing, this suicides, the accidents? It was just overwhelming me, and that's what I just needed to just shut down for a few days until I figure myself out, you know. And if it means taking more breaks from radio or whatever, then that's what I will have to do, because it's just too depressing. You understand? As I say, I've been doing everybody else except myself, so much so I'm not even opening my family messages and my messages from my children. I haven't even opened them, you know. But thanks for the thoughts, you know. But it has nothing to do with you. it's all about me now. I'm gonna make this period as much as it matters to me than anyone else. My apologies.
Me time.
Yeah.
Me time. Everybody needs some me time.
I learned a tough lesson over the last few days. A tough lesson. But I'll recover. I've recovered from tougher lessons before, and I think I'll recover from this one. So we go straight into the chat. Let's go straight into the chat. So again, as I said, my apologies for all the folks who would have been messaging me, but I didn't open your messages because I didn't want to have to deal with all that's happening. And I know a lot of those messages is about what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, and it just started.
They just shut down and lock it off.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Valerie Mendoza says good morning to the breakfast crew, and she said I didn't know that 3 MPs are in Saudi Arabia. Okay, we don't know that either. Who are the MPs, Miss Mendoza? Margaret Thomas, good morning, guys. Eunice Dublin, good morning. Slick Money Grip says good morning. Old lady said good morning. People, please remember the earth belongs to God. Don't sell your soul to the devil in order to get a US visa. At the end of the day, Trump, Kamala, Roger, and the rest will go, but God remains. Odell Guy says good morning. Brennan Smith, good morning. Ava Smith also says good morning. Boy Videsi from Debe, Michael Cadet, Sherwin and Juliet Kerr. Diane Payne says, who have eyes will see what is happening in this country. Give thanks for life. Diane Payne, it's just depressing. It's gone past depressing now. Marlon Motley, good morning, all. Happy hump day. Manuela Peters, Erica Charles, Prabha Ramdial, Wendy Ann, and Frank James says good morning. Susie B, Debbie Modest, Carol Guevara, Joyce Phillip, Kathy Ann Charles, also wishing Arlene and Bronxville, Texas, a good morning. Gavin Frank, Merle McComey, Ingrid from Tucson, Arizona, Ava Smith, Apollina says good morning and season's greetings to all. Diana Hamill, Robert Taylor, Trinidad Margot, Bernadette and Nelicia Yates, Sherma Paul, somebody who goes by the name Cantangaras Texter, Brent Hackshaw, Deborah Noel Serret, Estelita Sampson says good morning. You are not clear on the television, okay? Sankofa say bountiful faces. Ian Stewart, Florence Bazi, Suzanne Jessup, Alistair Hart, Stella Services, Rena Bulu Jennings, Ozzy Molino, Margarita Chow, I think I called her name already. Trini Boy, Miguel Gonzalez says good morning. Dean Allen, yes, Dean Allen, you're very correct. Kenny in Harlem, Chris Toussaint says happy Friday to me. Thanksgiving. All right, Thanksgiving is tomorrow, yes, on Friday off. Deborah Noel said, okay. Marva Williams and Sankofa. That's all the greetings on the chat. What's that noise?
Yeah, that's something picking up on Richard's microphone.
So you have a air conditioner or a fan blowing in your
something it just starts to blow inside of it. While he sorts it out, let's say good morning to the people who are coming in on the WhatsApp chat. Good day to starting off with Kent in Laventil, and very early as always. Good morning to you, Kent. Zena out there in Arima. Zena, don't know if you had blackout like Wendell. Archbishop Ashton Clark, he is in Canada. Carlin and Kelly, good morning to you. This super couple coming out of Carenage. Frank out there in Aruka, good day. Brenda in Penal, Dabadies up early, and thank you very much for the pictures and all the Christmas treats that you are making. Sachin, good morning to you. Mr. Beeps out there in Pity Valley, and all the folks on the Gael stream who are joining us. Good day to you also. Yeah. Just before we go to the break, Richard, yesterday we had on the afternoon drive time, Tony Fraser did a tribute, more or less you could say to Daniel DeFintala.
Yeah, I remember you talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, and also to Jimmy Cliff, we did that in, but mostly it was more about Daniel. And we had some people that came in, people who started out very early working with her and stuff, and just listening, when you're just listening to something and you could just listen and enjoy it. That is how I felt yesterday. I never met her personally, yeah. I know of her and stuff, but to hear the kind of person that she was, trying to make things in an industry where you're trying to break through the ice, where you don't have enough funding to do certain things, getting things like Westwood Park and trying to get sponsorship and all those different kinds of things. It was really fantastic. She was really a phenomenal individual. I can imagine what that funeral is going to be like. But it's there on our YouTube page. People, you can go up and check it out when you get a chance. And I'll play it back for you guys after we come off at 8 o'clock for those people on the normal stream. Yeah, but very interesting.
Yeah. David Wares is saying the TV audio is very bad and getting worse. I don't know if that has to do with the YouTube feed.
Well, it's not from what we are sending, because our feed is coming through pretty clear.
Yeah. David Wares, do like what Richard always says, switch it off and switch it back on.
Well, if it is a technical problem emanating from Gael,
could be
Caribbean, yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, exactly, do that. All right, so we'll just take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davantry tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charm Flair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charm Flair. We do it all.
There's no Christmas like Christmas on New Era TT Radio.
Oh, how I wish I were a child again, where poinsettias keep reminding you.
Christmas is family.
A Christmas gift of love. It's the kind of gift a man enjoys.
Christmas is love.
Have a Merry Christmas, my dear, and have a Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas from all of us here at New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Black cake sell-off, pastel sell-off, ham and pepper sauce, candles of course, decor and jewelry, clothes for you and me, everything sell-off.
This Christmas, come down to the Center of Excellence Terrenia Hall on Sunday, November 30th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the Sell-Off Christmas Market. Over 100 local vendors bringing the best of Trinbago, food, fashion, crafts, and pure Christmas vibes. Brought to you by the Passers-by TT in partnership with the ODEM Global Group. Visit passersbytt.com for updates.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So, So call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box. Christmas is coming and theater is going. You don't need found to watch corn. It's down to one final performance. The #1 comedy of 2025 is coming to an end. One show only, Saturday the 6th of December at 8:30 p.m. at Sapper. Tickets available at K Squared Fashion, C3 Center and Brentwood Mall, and at Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. Tickets also available at the Sapper box office for 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Don't miss the #1 play of 2025. You don't need foul to watch corn. Don't miss it. All right, so we are back after that short break. And of course, this is the point at which we get into the daily newspapers. Of course, I have newspapers this morning, so...
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, so you can relax. All right, so I'll start with the Daily Express. On the front page, and the main headline actually is Smiles, Doubles, and Secrets. And of course, this is in connection with the visit of the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Dan Keane, yesterday to Trinidad and Tobago. And of course, he met with the Prime Minister for about an hour, I believe. And of course, there's a picture of Dan Keane and the Prime Minister eating doubles. So that's the main picture, actually, and an insert photo of her shaking hands with him. The Prime Minister greets General Keane at the Diplomatic Center yesterday. So that's the front page. And of course, news goes around to the back. Form 1 laptops arrive. Padarath, your Christmas gifts. And there's a picture with children posing the laptops. Is that it? Yeah. With Education Minister, Minister Dowlass. Going inside to get to of course, Black Friday sales abound across the country because there are just endless ads about Black Friday. Advantage Army, TDF blank, Sabao, 3-0 in Caribbean Cup, third place, first leg tie. Gonzalez names those meddling in SVG pools, interfering trains. TT Rideshare condemns drivers' murder. Some of the news still spills over into the sports pages. Forever Young to return next year, and of course that's horse into the horse racing. And TNT Brother Aguilera says TNT woman ready for Bolivarian Games Challenge. And West Indies grouped with England in the 2026 T20 World Cup. So that's it for the front and the back pages of the Daily Express. I'll move on to the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for this morning. And in the Guardian, the main headline, as U.S.-Venezuela tensions escalate, power moves. War Secretary Pete Hegseth to travel to Caribbean today following high-level security talks between PM and top U.S. military commander. Of course, I think Peter Hegseth is going to the Dominican Republic. And of course, there's a picture with Dan Keane and the Prime Minister having doubles. AG to be referred to Privileges Committee for off-mic remark. And priest tied up, robbed by bandits on church compound. And on the back page, West Indies aim to end New Zealand Test drought. And some other, maybe I'll give you one more sports story, but that's the main sports story on the back page. Sammy says Windies going into Test series against Kiwis with winning mindset. And rain continues to plague Super 50 Cup. India grouped with Pakistan, England with West Indies in that 2026 World Cup. and reggae girls hoping for winning start in World Cup qualifiers. So that's it for the front and the back of the Guardian. And now for the final daily newspaper in Trinidad and Tobago today. And of course, today is Wednesday, November 26th, just in case you didn't know. And the main headline, Gonzalez claims TNT lawyers meddling in elections. Stay out Vinci politics. General Kane and Kamla to combat regional crime. And there's a picture of General Kane signing, I don't know what is it, the visitor's book, I guess. And on the back page, a group with Bangladesh, England for T20 World Cup. West Indies in for tricky test. Signal Hill second after SSFL disciplinary ruling. And I'll try and give you one more sports story, if I can open the newspapers. There we go. Sammy confident that West Indies seek to end 30-year drought in New Zealand, which is kind of what one of the other dailies said. And Ronaldo set to avoid World Cup ban. So that's it for our 3 dailies this morning. So now, you know, of course, a lot of the main stories center around that visit of General Kane yesterday with the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, he is the chairman of the He's the chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff. Yeah. And he is the top military advisor to the president and to the Secretary of Defense, Peter Hesketh. He is the top military advisor to both of them, actually, and to the National Security Council in the United States. So him visiting Trinidad and Tobago raised some eyebrows into what it all meant. So we still don't know what it all meant, even though the Prime Minister released a statement, I think, on X yesterday, and which was kind of like the usual kind of statements that you would see coming out of things like that, you know, the cooperation continues, blah, 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 which didn't really give any details, substantive details of what actually was discussed. Beyond cooperation and those kind of blanket terms that cover, quite frankly, everything and could mean anything. So we just don't know.
But I listened to David Abdullah, who said that this Mr. Kane is in such a position that he will only be advising on war, preparations for war. He won't be talking about drugs or narco traffickers and so on. That's how important a position he has. So I thought it interesting that he would be here and why he would be here, and maybe and because our poll, of course, is to deal with that today. Should the government explain what were the details of that meeting? You understand? I mean, something as a person as important as Mr. David Kane coming to Trinidad and Tobago to meet with the Prime Minister. You know, I mean, you can't just release an image of them eating doubles and say that is okay. We cool with that. You understand?
Yeah, I mean, if you were to just go into one of the articles that deals with it, it kind of references that the details are pretty scanty. What exactly was discussed behind closed doors when Chairman of the United States Joint Chief of Staff General Dan Keen met with Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar and several ministers at the diplomatic center in Port au Prince yesterday, following the meeting between the United States' highest-ranking military officer and the TNT government. And the TNT government team statements were promptly issued by both sides. They were, however, short on details and couched in diplomatic language, kind of what I just said. You know, leaving citizens to speculate about really what's discussed and what commitments, if any, were made by the government in the midst of heightened tensions between the US and Venezuela and with several warships in the region. What citizens do know for a fact is that General Keen was treated to TNT's famous doubles, and photos were released of him and the Prime Minister smiling, digging into the iconic bara and curried chickpeas on plates. The first statement following the meeting came from the office of the Chairman of the Joint Chief of Staff, Public Affairs, General Kane, and Prime Minister Persad-Bissessar exchanged views on challenges affecting the Caribbean region, including the destabilizing effects of illicit narcotics, arms and human trafficking, and transnational criminal organization activities. The chairman emphasized that close cooperation between the United States and Trinidad and Tobago directly contributes to safeguarding regional security. General Kane expressed appreciation for Trinidad and Tobago's continued leadership and partnership in advancing mutual objectives and reaffirmed that the United States remains committed to working closely with Trinidad and Tobago to address shared threats and deepen collaboration across the Caribbean. I don't know if you want to hear what the Prime Minister said, but that was General Kane's statement from his Public Affairs Unit. According to the statement from the Office of the Prime Minister, the meeting focused on regional security and stability. The Prime Minister stated that her government remained committed to addressing the effect of narcotics trafficking, human trafficking, and transnational crime for the benefit of citizens and the wider region. The statement said that TNT reaffirmed its strong relationship with the United States as a global ally on key priorities of regional security and stability. Facade Besessa expressed the government's continued commitment to working to ensure that the harmful effects of narco-trafficking, human trafficking, and transnational crime were eradicated for the benefit of citizens, country, and region. She goes on to say that she expressed gratitude for existing cooperation between both nations. But you'll get the drift. It's kind of what they've kind of been saying all the time. They just kind of added more adjectives and more words. But basically that's what diplomatic, speak is. You just couch it and say it differently and add a few more adjectives and make it sound nice and, a nice statement. But basically you're saying the same thing that you've always said.
Yes.
Narco-trafficking, human trafficking, cooperation, mutual cooperation, and regional stability. The key words are said in different sentences and with different adjectives attached.
So, but at the end of the day, not one narco-trafficker has appeared before the courts anywhere in the United States or in Trinidad and Tobago since this exercise has started. Not one.
But the exercise is about
obliterating them, killing them violently.
Well, it's about destroying the boats that are allegedly, so there's nobody to hold.
I see.
In fact, the reports were, if they were true, that the one incident where there were people alive, they were repatriated to their respective countries.
So they weren't narco traffickers, according to them, because they would have been arrested, not so?
I can't answer you. I'm not a spokesperson for either department.
That's what I'm telling you, Richard. I don't know if these things are affecting you all as much as it's probably affecting me, but it is tiring now. It is tiring. Reading, listening, watching, hearing, trying to figure out, it is tiring. I have had enough.
Well, I mean, as I tell you, I mean, these are you have no power to affect any of these things. So worrying about it amounts to zero. You can discuss it in this kind of format where you can give your opinion, but you have no power to actually change what is occurring beyond being a vehicle for which some level of public sentiment is expressed.
Yeah.
And sometimes, to be fair, public sentiment can change stuff. I'm not saying no, but it really has to be, a lot of public sentiment coming from all angles, at least affect Caribbean governments generally. It can't be just one group talking. Generally, it has to be a lot of people talking. So a lot of Trinidadians and Tobagonians concerned about it, yes. A lot of Trinidadian and Tobagonians wondering, well, what was that visit about? Yes. But those are the kind of communiques you're going to get out of meetings like that. Because whatever was discussed from a national security perspective is not going to obviously be exposed in any public way to the media. It just wouldn't, especially in a situation of escalating tensions between the US and Venezuela. Mm-hmm. So it just wouldn't make sense to do that from a strategic point of view.
Yeah.
Which we understand. But I think what people are more concerned with, because there was a lot of speculation that maybe it was the US, but people were speculating this, and let me categorize that. People were speculating, was it a request for Trinidad and Tobago to be used as a launching pad, so to speak, for whatever they may be planning with regard to Venezuela? Because, of course, there was a terrorist designation that was done by the US against Maduro and one of the gangs that allegedly he's linked to. Mm-hmm. And I know one of the questions that was asked of a political analyst yesterday on one of the news channels was whether the US designating, in fact, Maduro being a terrorist because he's part of a terrorist organization, which gives a certain amount of possibility of military intervention. With all of this, I'm just kind of summarizing what international outlets are saying and what happened on the news last night. And in the news last night, they asked the political analysts, does that mean that Trinidad and Tobago, or did they think that Trinidad and Tobago was also going to designate Maduro and that organization a terrorist organization? Mm-hmm. And the political analyst kind of hedged, even though he kind of, said words that amounted to not really saying anything in response, in my opinion.
But haven't we already said that, Richard?
I don't know that we've said that.
The Prime Minister already say that about Maduro?
That he's a terrorist?
A narco-terrorist?
No, I don't know that she said that.
Okay, well, I may be wrong then.
I don't know. I'm saying I don't know that she said that. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you have some evidence that she said that. I can't remember her saying that.
I don't know why that came to me, that she may have already said that about him. Not recently, but I think that was said about him already.
I'm not sure. I can't remember what you're saying. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
But of course, Trinidad and Tobago is between a rock and a hard place in a kind of way. I mean, okay, maybe we kind of put ourselves there, but but it is what it is at this point. And as I think, Wendell, I mean, you could be anxious about it, but you have very little power to affect it until it all plays out. Beyond, as I said, maybe forums like this where some degree of public sentiment is expressed.
Yeah.
So, I would say things like that, do I have the power to change this? Probably not. So I'm not going to beat up my head about it. And hopefully it doesn't get into any degree of, nobody wants war. And the Venezuelan population, I'm sure, does not want war. They don't want any attack.
Well, when you're seeing images of Maduro being pretty confident and dancing and so on, you wonder what's really going on in this place.
People are defiant. People get defiant. That's usual. From historical playbooks, people always get defiant and say, yeah, we will match you and whatever. But the population I'm talking about doesn't want that.
Yeah.
Because they always, when governments and when countries fight wars, civilians are always the ones that eventually suffer. They're the ones that suffer the most. Yeah. And no matter how you could twist and turn it and say going after X, Y, and Z, mistakes will happen and civilians always get caught up, in the mix of stuff. So I don't think anybody wants war. I don't think the rest of the Caribbean region wants any issue. I don't think Latin America wants it. And I don't think Americans necessarily want it. I don't know that President Trump, to be fair to him, as I said, President Trump has always positioned himself as an anti-war president. That is what he has articulated, and that he's going to, he has consistently said that, he's going to stop wars across the planet as best as he can. So that has been his mantra. So I don't know that he would be, gung-ho ready to go into a war.
But how do you prepare for a war? I see somebody said in the chat just now, prepare for it. How do you prepare for a war? How do you?
Well, you can't, because you have no, you don't have the military might to do anything. So you're really going to be dependent on somebody to protect you. If it is that you get involved in it. And I think that's what has a lot of Trinidadians and Tobagonians anxious, is that they feel we are a little too involved. And because if we had maintained our neutrality and all of this was happening, it's fine. And of course, we have agreements with the United States and stuff like that, which is, we have signed it. So we are, we have committed to whatever we would have signed. But you could have still maintained a degree of neutrality rather than the exchange of words that put us on Venezuela's radar in a tangible way as being almost like a co-aggressor. In a kind of way that's, I think, that's a certain degree of viewing us. And even though I know President Maduro has at times taken pains to say that he doesn't think the Trinidad and Tobago population wants anything, or supports, the kind of antagonism going back and forth. In his own way, however, he said it. Well, we just have to see how it all plays out, And but certainly Trinidad, if nothing else, Trinidad and Tobago's international profile is certainly skyrocketed.
Well, and included in that, let me just get this one thing out of the way before we open the line. The other issue of the Minister of Homeland Security calling for the U.S. to, I don't know if it's revoke visas of people who are on social media commenting negatively and so on. Is he asking for his own colleagues' visas to be revoked? Because nobody comments more negatively than a couple of them on his side. Is he asking for those visas also to be revoked? I couldn't understand that statement. I really couldn't,
But I think he talks about negatively to the government's position and to the U.S. operation and to the, I think he's talking about that and what they term is harmful to the interests of the country, I guess, or harmful in terms of the national security situation, and which I talked yesterday with Sir Charles and well, of course, on yesterday's program about the issue of freedom of speech, freedom of the press, and where is that line drawn? And of course, the Commissioner of Police also weighed in on it and saying, watch what you're saying on social media, because you could be arrested depending on what kind of threats you say and stuff like that. And if you threaten people, with bodily harm and stuff like that, you should be held accountable. Absolutely, I think that's reasonable. You should be held accountable for what you're saying. But I think that's a given that people think that that's not new. And if you make threats like that, because people have been detained before because of that. But where does that line of freedom of speech and freedom of expression lie in terms of if my right to criticize without you trying to intimidate me? But what Minister of Homeland Security did by making that statement, by that letter being leaked, because remember it was a letter that was leaked that brought it into the public arena. I think that letter signals a kind of it's a kind of like a warning signal. It's like a flare being sent up. That is, to me, it's a flare being sent up to say, be vigilant about that constitutional right to freedom of expression and freedom of the press. because inherent in that is there's a right to criticize, not to cause harm, but you have a right to criticize and share your opinion. And it seems like an attempt to intimidate people on that right. And of course, so we'll see how all of that plays out. I mean, he's asking the U.S. to do something, and of course, the U.S. is a sovereign state; they could take him on or not take him on, in terms of what he's saying.
Every action causes a reaction, Richard. And when there are people on the government side who go on social media and say some of the things they say, don't they expect a reaction? Don't they expect a reaction when they do what and say what they do? And
of
say
course,
what
they must get a reaction. They must get a reaction.
Yeah.
If it is that people feel intimidated to speak, and I'm talking about the bloggers and stuff who are more, I mean, we just express our opinions in a particular kind of way and in a respectful way on this program. But bloggers necessarily don't have those constraints, right? And people who express their opinions on social media don't have those constraints, right? People will say all sorts of things and will curse and carry on social media. But from the time you attempt to intimidate people in terms of your freedom of speech to express your opinion, it's, and I know the minister, but we could have the minister on to ask him about this, but of course he's been reluctant to do interviews. But where is that line? And which is what I said, where is that line? And to me, it's like a flare being sent up to say, be vigilant about that freedom of speech and freedom of press. And it's unfortunate that the government has used the tool of a state of emergency to fight crime. And my stance on that. State of emergency should not be used for that. But it curtails those rights, which the Commissioner of Police kind of, would have reiterated in a certain way with regard to what you're saying on social media. Because remember, the Constitution protects those rights.
Yeah.
That you have a right to freedom of speech, not a right to defame, not a right to cause public discord and stuff like that. But certainly you have a right to critique. But when that line starts to become blurry, people can get intimidated. I think we're talking too much and we didn't open the lines.
That is self-regulation there, Richard. That is very good.
Did you have a guest today?
Well, we're trying to get Josiah Austin, but he's under the weather. So he did reach out. I did reach out to him yesterday. He spoke to me when he missed on Monday, and he said he'd try to come today, but he said he couldn't make it today because his voice is still not strong enough because he is really battling, So he was hoping that maybe he could come on Thursday or Friday. But I know we have a guest tomorrow already, and I know Friday is kind of, chock full of other stuff too, including it's the People's Forum where people can call and talk about whatever. So he said he preferred to do it this week. So I'll have to reach out to him and, and tell him, well, and don't know if we can do it this week. Because today was a good opportunity to do it.
In a bit on Friday, because he did message me that I only just saw the message. He messaged me since Monday morning, actually, to say he was under the weather. But as I said, I only just closing off all these messages that I have on my phone, and his was one. Yeah, his was one.
All right, people. So we are taking your calls at 281-1315. Surprisingly, the lines stayed kind of empty on 299-5156. You can get in on the show in the minutes that we have. All right. Good morning to you, caller.
Yes, sir. Morning.
Morning to you, sir.
Morning. Yeah.
Morning.
Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Patrick.
When you listen to the speech, what Mr. Alexander said, to start to look at some laws like in China, that going further, that going real far. And like I was explaining to somebody yesterday, China, Cuba, Russia, and a lot of them countries is communism. We are democratic countries. America is a democratic country, so they have freedom of speech and freedom of the press. But the only thing in America, people will get sued. You understand? What we have to do, Mr. Alexander, not to tell the American government to ban people and take away the visa. If people say something on social media and it wasn't true, wasn't factual, go to court and sue them. That's what you have to do. That's all you have to do with them. You understand? But don't ban people.
Yeah, but well, Mr. Patrick, as I said yesterday, the best defense to misinformation is for you to have a robust machinery to answer the misinformation with the correct information if you're saying it's misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than trying to use the whip basically and say, keep in line basically. And that's why I say, when I say it's a flare, because you have to be protective of the freedom of speech. It's very easy for it to be eroded. India was once a very liberal democracy and had a vibrant freedom of the press and freedom of expression, and it got limited under Narendra Modi. And if people think I'm making it up, look it up. Look it up. Same thing happened in Turkey. Same thing happened in Turkey. And so no, I said same thing happened. But I mean, it also happened in Russia eventually under Putin, when Putin took over, which was maybe 2 decades ago. Putin gradually clamped down on that freedom of the press, and a lot of the free press that would have surfaced post the Gorbachev era, when the Soviet Union got dismantled, and free press started to surface and stuff like that. All of that got clamped down under Putin. Governments don't like dissent a lot of the times, and that's one of the things with democracies. Dissent is part of democracy, right? That people will say, I disagree with what you say, which is why you have oppositional politics. That people will say, no, I disagree with you. And where you will have standoffs in parliamentary chambers or Congress or wherever it is, where people will say, no, I disagree with you. That's the nature of democracies. But freedom of press and freedom of the press and freedom of speech are important components for the wheel of democracy to keep spinning. And it's not something to be trifled with. Now, governments from time to time will try to do certain things. The PNM tried to do it at one point historically in Trinidad and Tobago. There was a time when newsprint was limited as an import that affected, I believe it was the Trinidad Express at the time, years ago. And they went to court. And the court ruled that any reduction or limiting of access to the print paper itself by the government was an infringement of the freedom of the press right, and the government had to relinquish. So governments can try strange and subterfuge kind of ways to try to limit that freedom of the press, which is why various governments have a standoff to the press. You know it, you see it all the time. Politicians sometimes have standoffs to the press. Why they like them? Oh, that newspaper is a pro-UNC paper, or that newspaper is a pro-PNM paper. When they take positions on different issues, they try to denigrate the media houses as being affiliated with the other party. And I not buy no Guardian again because Guardian is pro-PNM. Why not buy? You hear it all the time. And it's fueled by politicians trying to exercise that kind of control and getting their loyalists to follow suit to hopefully have an effect. Sometimes they pull advertising.
The amazing thing, the amazing thing though, Richard, is that during those years of the PNM, everybody had a voice. Even the ones who may have felt intimidated, you heard them. People had something to say. Now, everybody just quiet. No, everybody afraid to talk. All the unions.
Not everybody's afraid.
That's not so. That's
they're afraid to talk. Who talking? Which one of them talking?
Yeah.
David Abdullah must be the lone voice in the wilderness.
But as a trade union rep, yes. But on social media, you have all kind of people saying all kind of stuff still. But I mean, you know, who specifically are you saying that is silent?
Most of the unions, most of the people
the unions are part of the alliance with the government.
Most of the people who had a lot to say during the last 9.5 years, they called Dr. Rowley all manner of names. You understand?
It had a lot of people within the last 9 years were very comfortable and wasn't saying anything either, you know. Hit a switch.
Anyway, our poll is up. Should the government give details about the meeting with the U.S. Joint Chief of Staff? Yes or no? You can vote on it during our news time, and when we come back, we'll deal with that poll. All right?
Black cake sell-off, pastel sell-off, ham and pepper sauce, candles of course, decor and jewelry, clothes for you and me, everything sell-off.
This Christmas, come down to the Center of Excellence Terrenia Hall on Sunday, November 30th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the Sell-Off Christmas Market. Over 100 local vendors bringing the best of Trinbago, food, fashion, crafts, and pure Christmas vibes. Brought to you by the Passers-by TT in partnership with the ODEM Global Group. Visit passersbytt.com for updates.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. I'm Derek. Good day. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar met with Chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, at the Diplomatic Center for talks on regional security and ongoing cooperation between Trinidad and Tobago and the United States. A statement after the meeting said the Prime Minister outlined her government's approach to narco-trafficking, human trafficking, and transnational crime, stressing that Trinidad and Tobago remains committed to working closely with the U.S. to protect citizens and the wider Caribbean. Persad-Bissessar highlighted the long-standing ties between the two countries, noting that the partnership continues to grow through coordinated security initiatives and information sharing. General Kane acknowledged Trinidad and Tobago's important role in regional security discussions and praised local agencies for their work with U.S. counterparts. The meeting also explored future cooperation and plans for continued engagement between both governments as they target criminal networks operating across the region. The partner of murdered local government councillor Ramona Tinale Victor left a handwritten note expressing remorse and saying he could not live without her. The letter was read to Victor's father, who found the bodies of 36-year-old Victor and her partner, 45-year-old Rodney Ramsemer, on Sunday at their home off Quinham Branch Road in Superior. A post-mortem found that Victor died from blunt force trauma to the head and neck, while Ramsemer died from poisoning. Police recovered a bottle of herbicide and the handwritten note at the scene. Victor, a mother of one and a second-term UNC counselor for Superior East, San Francisco South, had recently been appointed to the board of Heritage Petroleum. Her parents said the couple shared a troubled 16-year relationship. Superior Mayor Dudnath Mehru visited the family and described Victor as a hardworking, dedicated representative, pledging support for funeral arrangements. A man who allegedly issued online death threats to opposition Senator Dr. Emery Brown has come forward to police. A senior officer confirmed to the Express that the suspect, accompanied by relatives, walked into a Western Division police station on Saturday, hours after Brown reported the threats. He was questioned but had not been charged up to last night as investigations continue. The threats were posted on Brown's own Facebook page. In a statement on Friday, he said it was the most serious threat he has received in nearly 20 years of political life and confirmed that a full report was made to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. The profile that issued the threats displays a man's photograph, has about 40 friends, and shows no public posts after October 12, 2025. Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara is warning social media users in Trinidad and Tobago that anyone who makes threats or tries to destabilize the country will face the full force of the law. In a release on November 25th, Guevara said the TTPS Cyber and Social Media Unit is actively monitoring online activity and collecting evidence. The warning comes just days after opposition Senator Dr. Emery Brown revealed Facebook threats to shoot him and his family. And last week, a Diego Martin woman was detained under a preventive detention order for allegedly inciting violence against Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar online. Guevara stressed that freedom of speech is no defense when posts cross into criminal behavior, noting that threats and incitement undermine national safety. He said the emergency powers regulations allow Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander to issue detention orders against anyone whose online posts encourage violence or invite external interference. Guevara urged citizens to stay responsible online, warning, "Don't take chain up. Your words today can have you in handcuffs tomorrow." The People's National Movement says it will refer Attorney General John Jeremy to the Privileges Committee over comments he made during a hot mic moment in Parliament on November 21st. Opposition Chief Whip Marvin Gonzalez says the AG must be held accountable for what he called a pattern of derogatory language in the House. A clip circulating online captures Jeremy saying, "Hush your mouth, boy. Why you ain't take your little man?" Gonzalez says the remark was unbecoming of an attorney general and disrespectful to elected MPs. He says he will file a privileges motion, adding that Jeremy has shown a political vendetta since entering office. Meanwhile, Colum Imbert says he is considering a separate referral against Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar after she told him she would cuff him down during Friday's debate. Imbert says he expects an apology, but Government House Leader Barry Patterath insists none will be given. The opposition says the dignity of Trinidad and Tobago's parliament is at stake. In international news, Russia launched heavy overnight strikes on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, killing at least 7 people and hitting homes and energy sites. President Volodymyr Zelensky says more than 22 missiles and over 460 drones were fired, knocking out water, heat, and electricity in parts of the city. A second wave later hit another district, killing 4 more people. Ukraine also carried out major drone attacks on southern Russia, killing 3 in the Rostov region and damaging fuel and industrial sites. The surge in violence comes as the United States pushes renewed peace talks. U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll met Russian officials in Abu Dhabi on Tuesday as part of discussions on a possible settlement. Ukrainian officials say the U.S. peace document is being streamlined, while Russia says it is waiting on the latest draft. European leaders warn the road to peace will be long, even as all sides say they want a deal to end the war that has now lasted nearly 4 years. And that's news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Your mid-morning just got better. Join Sir Charles for the mid-morning mix and mingle, where good music, real talk, health, and family matters come together, and your voice is heard. Whether you're a go or just taking a break, this is the perfect mix to keep you engaged, informed, and entertained. The mid-morning mix and mingle, weekdays, 9 a.m. to 12 noon on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Morning vibes, fresh energy. This is the NETT Radio Breakfast Show.
he leave Rudolph at home with them other reindeer. Right now we planning to get down in a soca party to see them nice woman shake up their boom see. Santa looking for a wife, Santa looking for a wife, Santa looking for a wife, Santa looking for a wife. He like ginger beer and sorrel, or pastel need a squirrel. In one hand codfish and roast beef, in the next hand a piece of black cake. Santa looking for a wife, Santa looking for a wife, Santa looking for a wife, Santa looking for a wife.
Just got better. You're locked into NETT Radio Breakfast Show, fueling your day with the best music and real talk.
All right, and of course, yes, welcome inside the second hour here on New Era TT Radio and Gaia Caribbean TV, which we're having a little problem with this morning, so we do apologize for that. But this is how the technology works every now and then, right? But it's good to be here with you on the breakfast show, and thank you very much for getting up with us early this morning. I want to say good morning to all the folks who came in just before the anthem. I call you guys the anthem crew. You're inside very early and you stay all the way, so thank you very much. For those who are coming in along the way, thank you very much for being here. Of course, when we come off of the feed, well, the YouTube and the Facebook feed this morning, I don't know if Guy will get back with us. You can join us on newerattradio.com. That is where you can listen to us all day, all throughout the day. Today is Wednesday. It's Reggae-matic Wednesday, so we got some real good reggae music for you in the music spaces. But when we come off of those feeds, you can listen to us all day, every day. And while you're up there, like, subscribe, follow, and of course hit the support buttons also, all right? That's greatly appreciated. So do you think that the government should disclose what was discussed, or some more of what was discussed yesterday? Remember, you're voting yes or no, and then you can put in any comment after that. Yes, no first, then anything else after that. So stay with us, don't go anywhere, we will be back shortly.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop, located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Devante tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
There's no Christmas like Christmas on New Era TT Radio.
The other day I went Venezuela and I fall in love with a señorita. I hardly know the lingo, but I really know what she know.
It's a time for giving, caring, and sharing.
It's things like this that get me mad. Who stole the rubbish from my yard?
A time for loving and remembering what really matters most. Greater than from our family to yours. Merry Christmas and a blessed season from New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rum Box. Drinking out of the box.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So, call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
Black cake sell-off, pastel sell-off, ham and pepper sauce, candles of course, decor and jewelry, clothes for you and me, everything sell-off.
This Christmas, come down to the Center of Excellence, Terrenia Hall on Sunday, November 30th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the Sell-Off Christmas Market. Over 100 local vendors bringing the best of Trinbago, food, fashion, crafts, and pure Christmas vibes. Brought to you by the Passers-by TT in partnership with the ODEM Global Group. Visit passersbytt.com for updates.
Christmas is coming and theater is going. You don't need far to watch Corn. It's down to one final performance. The #1 comedy of 2025 is coming to an end. One show only. Saturday the 6th of December at 8:30 p.m. at Sapa. Tickets available at K-Squared Fashion, C3 Center and Brentwood Mall. And at Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. Tickets also available at the Sapa box office for 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Don't miss the #1 play of 2025. You don't need foul to watch Corn. Don't miss it. Of course.
Is that Miss Samson?
I don't know what that was.
Sounded like Miss Samson.
So anyway, we are back. We are back in the breakfast show. And of course, we this is the point at which we go through our poll results. But you can still see the poll up and running. I just wanted to say something about you don't need to watch Corn. The box office at Sapa opens from Monday, the 1st of December, which should be Monday coming. 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Just keep that in mind. But all the usual outlets have tickets: K-Squared Fashion, C3 Center, and Brentwood Mall, and Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout, as well as online via RSRR Productions Theatre on various social media channels like TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, so let's start dealing with the yeses and nos. No and
All right. Should the government give details about the meeting with the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff? That's our poll. Josie Richardson was the first person to vote yes. Bernadette Yates, yes. Rena Jennings, yes. Scorpion Pepper, yep. Suzanne Jessup, yes. Michael Robinson from Yokohama, Japan, yes. Eunice Dublin, yes. Marlon Motley, yes. Miguel Gonzalez, yes. Ava Smith, yes. Julia Samantha, yes. Lester Cragwell, no. Valerie Mendoza, yes. Sankofa, yes. Michael Cadet, no. Simad, yes. Kazim Mohammed, yes. Old Lady, yes. Helen Prescott, yes. Edwin Joseph, yes. Margaret Thomas, yes. Trini, yes. Apollonius, yes. Slick Money Grip, yes. Joseph Clement, yes. Florence Bazzi didn't vote. Carol Guevara, yes. Diane Payne, yes. A lot of chatter here. Let me try to get some votes. Scorpion Pepper, you had already voted yes. Avion Abraham, yes. David McCarthy, yes. Wendy and D-Mark, yes. Carla Hercules, yes. Carla Hercules apparently lost her brother, I think. I saw that in an earlier message, or condolences. She said, and almost like if it's today it happened. Wayne Joseph, yes. CJ from New York, yes. Colted Finch, yes. Beauty Culture, yes. Marcia Rock, yes. Finbar Collins, yes. Sherma Paul, yes. Anthony Ballard, yes. Joyce Phillip, yes. Suzette Jessup, yes. James Kamau, yes. Stan Staubin? Okay, I'm not sure how you pronounce that. I think it's Staubin. Yes. Julia Farrell. Welcome, Paul. No, thank you. I think she's saying no. Bridget Buchanan, yes. Carlisle Cupid, no. And Cheryl Henry didn't vote. All right, so those are my votes.
All right, so on the WhatsApp, we have Pauline saying hello. Brenda is saying yes. Archbishop Ashton Clark is saying yes. Zena is saying yes. Sean is saying no. And that's all I have here.
And I just have one more yes from Trini Merle Kitchen. That's one more yes.
And I have Black Pearl also saying yes.
Mm-hmm.
Black Pearl, I almost miss it again. Almost miss you. Yeah.
Is that it?
That is it.
All right, so we had 53 people voting on the poll this morning in the allotted time. And of course, the poll this morning, just in case you didn't know, is should the government give details about the meeting with the U.S. Joint Chief of Staff? Of course, that'll be General Dan Keane, which they met yesterday. And should the government give details? I suppose maybe it means more details. So they gave some, but you know. But anyway, 53 people voted on the poll this morning. And of the 53 people, 46 of you said yes, they should give details, and 7 of you said no, they don't have to. So 46 people said yes, 7 people said no, that's it. The poll is now at an end. That's it. The poll is done.
Cheryl Henry say, I'm afraid to vote because the Homeland Minister might see what I post and send police to detain me.
I don't know what people really expect.
Not get that bad.
I don't know what people would expect in a situation like that. That what was discussed at that level will be put out in the public domain. I don't know, but that's it. Anyhow, let me play this video. Since yesterday, I want to play this video for you guys.
Play it.
Yeah.
Play.
This is a situation. This is done by Miss Sampson. Miss Sampson, good morning to you. All right, and this happened in Friday into Saturday morning when she was awoken around 4 a.m. with loud music. I want all you to listen to the level of the music and Miss Sampson in her gallery. Right, check it out.
Miss Sampson.
That is San Fernando Hill. Follow me. That is Dark House. That is the bar. All I have to do right now is to pull a chair, open the fridge, take out a Malta, and sit. Oh, Dingole. Thing nice. Welcome to TNT. You all have a good morning. Look, I pull it up. That's the bar. It's away from me. I just pull up the camera. Just pull a seat and a drink. Thing nice.
What kind of music is the bar playing? What of music is that, Sir Charles?
More importantly than all of that, Michelle, more importantly than all of that is the fact that Miss Sampson has a balcony there and a railing balcony there that she could hold on and wind down to that music.
Yeah, I love her balcony actually.
Yeah,
that's
so
a lovely balcony.
Wind down. I don't know what you're talking about bringing that chair for.
But she talk about Malta too, so I ain't so sure how much whining gonna take place. You know.
Yeah. So
but what music is that though? What music is that? Is like
it's more Afrobeat.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's more Afrobeat. It's a nice piece of
bar
music.
light up though. The bar light up too, eh?
Yeah, but the other thing is that if you are in your bed, as in where you are in your area there, and Saturday morning, Friday into Saturday morning, you work hard and you reach in or you're in your bed sleeping at 4 o'clock. You just start to get that. You hear how clear that music is coming across. Eh? It actually sounds like it's like sound like it just next door you or you're in the party. Yeah? It is that kind of clear.
And music rises, and she's clearly above the bar, above the level of the bar.
Yeah.
So she's getting
whatever it is, but I mean that is something else.
But at least the music was kind of decent.
Well, maybe that particular one, it don't stay there with that one song, you know. It is degenerate and go in all different directions, you know.
Yeah.
It is prime.
All kind of pom pom stuff. Yeah. You know the pom pom songs, you know them.
There are many.
I don't know.
Wow.
Sometimes I get that here where I live from across the river, the Pinto side. And sometimes you get loud music. Sometimes they say it's a bar, I don't know. You know, and then of course, I don't know. But 4 o'clock in the morning, that's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and if that happening on a regular basis, Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning into Monday morning, and all those different kinds of things.
But I don't know what she could do about that, because the music may not be loud where the bar is, you know, but because of where she is on the height, you understand, and it coming through that open space, because you've seen a lot of kind of nice plants and so, you know.
Nah, that music loud. Wendell.
Yeah, she getting it loud.
Loud. I mean, it's somebody with a very good sound system to it, and fly by night sound system.
Clean.
Yeah, it's, clearly a lot of new today components are involved in that. But it's just loud, and if you live in areas where you have to put up with that kind of thing, because as I said, you might be relaxing, you're sleeping, you're coming from work, and that started to play 4 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would have been playing whole night. It just happened to be playing louder at 4 o'clock because there may be less people around and less movement around. So you're getting it louder. You know?
Yeah.
People need to learn to turn on the music after a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyhow,
it's so loud in some establishments they can't even talk to the person next to you.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous.
And at 4 o'clock in the morning, you want to get close to somebody and whisper, you know, at that time, you know?
Yeah, because alcohol is in full force.
Yeah,
what you wasn't looking at before suddenly becomes palatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, Sir Charles?
Yes.
No, you need to explain.
Yes, I do. Because 4 o'clock, you want to speak easy, you don't want to be talking loud. Lord, please forgive us, but you know we always like to make a joke out of everything, right?
Yeah.
No, laugh with the face you cry.
That is ridiculous. That is ridiculously loud at that hour.
Yeah.
That's ridiculously loud at that hour. And yeah, so I mean, you don't have some sense, especially you must know how far your sound is traveling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need to bring that to the attention of the bar. Maybe they're not aware.
Maybe.
Bring that to the attention of the bar. Listen, this is how you're sounding 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
The person in the bar can't speak easy. I can't speak easy either. So you have to help me out, man.
All right. So we can take a couple calls, or
Yes, we can take.
all right. So, yeah, the person calling already.
Richard on this landline. I don't know how he must be the only person.
Have a landline.
Have a landline still.
He might still have a fax machine too. Good morning, Zena.
Good morning, Sir Charles. Good morning, Richard and Wendell. Good morning.
Morning.
All locked on. Well, you see, that is why when DJs get on like that, that is why they getting punished now with this noise level. And that the Prime Minister want to have children party now from 4 to 10. So they have to learn to take it down. Oh gosh. People, they want to deafen people when you go to a fete. As Richard said, you can't even talk to the person next to you. And they love a lot of breakfast parties. Eh? So that must
And
be
that
a
is the
fundraising
thing.
party.
So
That's
some,
going to 11.
yeah.
Anyhow, I called. I wanted to tell you, Sir Charles, if you didn't know, I know you love that tune, that Clam Bindley B song, that Christmas tune.
Which one of that?
Started looking for a wife.
Uh-huh.
Well, I just want to send condolences to Bindley B, Mr. Benjamin.
Uh-huh.
He married his wife about a week and a half ago.
Oh, I was not aware of that.
Right now he's in mourning and possibly looking for a wife for this Christmas.
No, man, he had a month.
Yeah, when the visa entertainer, man. But
Yeah, but so, yes, we had a large turnout. I looked at it online. Yeah. Anyhow, I just touching base.
Okay, no
I
problem.
find I in trouble only for long. Miss Samson, when that happened, girl,
Call the
all you have
police.
to do is go back in bed and sleep for the rest of the day. You know, as Richard said, get up, wind down in your porch, and Malta, I call for a good
yeah, but probably need something stronger.
that good for a good rum harder thing there and wine, and then go back in your bed and sleep for the rest of the day. Go on.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
She said, Ms. Sampson said she did tell the bar owner to remove a speaker. But it's not so much removing a speaker, it's just to turn down the volume. That's what they need. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, but with people and alcohol, the more alcohol people drink, is the louder it does need music, you know.
Yeah.
Ask Richard.
I don't know why though.
Mr. Patrick, good morning.
Yes, sir. Morning, Wendell again. Morning. But that music, what affecting Miss Sampson? You know they have a law against that? You know, right?
They have a lot of laws that are not being enforced.
Because we supposed to keep our crusade that time in a tent in St. Augustine. And, you know, they put the box and the speaker. The cone on them and the cone speakers.
Yeah.
The horn on them too. And, you know, the EMA and the police come and tell them, hey, turn them cone and speaker in the tent. Because the public went and report and the disturbance. It's a law for that. You understand?
Yeah.
I know a certain partner of mine leave where he live in Tunpuna Road, Wendell, and gonna live in the bush because of a certain buying. He said Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Thursday night is loud music. You know that.
Well, it has so much bars like that on Tunpuna Road.
Most places are so my bars now.
He said they had petition and nothing come out there because the bar owner and certain people are good friends.
And that is a serious thing, eh?
Certain people are good friends. No, what do you call that? The new laws concerning 8-year-old cars coming to Trinidad and Tobago. I listen to the association dealer saying something wrong with that. They're going and dump Trinidad with old car now.
Plenty thing wrong with that.
When you know, after 5 years, sometimes a car wants a lot of repairs. You bring an 8-year-old car to that?
Yeah. I think to get people vexed too, because you will buy a car until if you're buying a decent car, the car looking good, it done 8 years old, you drive it for 6 months and then you have to do one set of repairs on it, you know.
You could remember that issue when they had people bringing in cars and selling people and the transmission and them was going. I don't get anyone good on the car.
Yeah.
And the band that and they say, wait, now we bringing car 3 years. So how they jump down to 8 years and they discuss 6 years, you say? So I don't. Me and I know car for no 8 years. Right?
You were dumping ground before and you're going to become a dumping ground.
Yeah, bigger ground. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, thanks very much, Mr. Patrick. Yeah, that's a serious thing. We was trying to talk about Mr. Babu and see if I could get him in for next week to talk about it, guys, right?
Yeah, Wissam will do an interview.
I think he will.
Yeah.
Mr. Martin, good morning.
So part of that organization.
Good morning. Go ahead.
Good morning, Sir Charles and Wendell and Richard.
Good morning, Ms. Henry.
I think the EMA is not doing their work properly, because you can't tell me somebody have a bar and from 4 in the evening. My grandson was telling me last week Friday he couldn't sleep. I said, well, good thing it didn't have school the next day, because there's a bar on the Diego Martin Main Road. It starts from Thursday, Friday. And I mean, and they are living so far away from that bar. I couldn't understand when he tell me that noise. And so, Charles, you know what I want to ask you? Why it is some DJs like to shout on the mic? As far as I know, from all the years I go and party in the Vale, you play music, you want to hear the music. You don't want to hear the DJ shouting, put your hand in the air.
Yeah, but
DJ
Miss
shouting out, tune and hush.
No, but Mr. Martin, you see long ago, Lennon used to dive on the ground and twerk and all kind of thing and get on, jump on shit.
Yeah, man, this sounds so disgusting. It is the worst. I don't know. It have DJs. Different. Some of them, they have to shout. Let the tune play. No. You are paid to play, not to be shouting. Good Lord. And next thing, so Charles, I hear you say when people drink, how they get on. I listened to the father of that lady who got killed in Siberia. And that father said, that man touched my heart when he said he pleaded with that daughter to leave this man, because when the man drink, how he used to get on so violent. And I just asked myself, why some of we women stays with a violent man? So Charles, when there was man can be giving me 5,000 a month to go shopping, and you hitting me? Let me tell you, saying like how my mother used to say, one in the jail and one in the cemetery. Because I'm not staying with no man, and before you had to end up in handcuffs because you might kill him, walk, pack, and ride out. But some women don't do that. They prefer to stay. I want to leave him. And then the men in white take you out on a stretcher. All you're mad.
That's a sad story. Did they have children? That story upset me no end.
I think I love you.
Yeah, I think they had. Okay, no problem. Thanks very much.
Yeah, that father, listening to that father, there was just so sad. And just even watching the mother, because it's clear she's not well. The mom is not well. You know what I mean? And that was another story that really got to me over the weekend, over the last few days. You know what I mean? That I just couldn't deal with. You know?
Yeah, that was really sad.
But did you all see the video of this man who apparently withdrew $100,000 from the bank and was going to the Board of Inland Revenue and casually walking through the street with it in a plastic bag, and somebody came up to him and grabbed it and kind of walked off and kind of dodged him, and then he jumped in a car and he run behind the car, end up on the ground. Did you all see that video?
We played it yesterday.
Yeah, we played that yesterday. But yeah, of course you weren't here.
We played it twice.
Oh.
Yeah, it's really something else. Hold on 1 minute, guys. Caller, good morning to you.
Morning, gentlemen.
Virginia, good morning.
Center. Hey, good morning. Yeah, look, my vote wouldn't have made a difference. I was going to abstain, but I voted. Didn't catch it, but that's okay. It wouldn't have made a difference, right? I said, and David Abdullah had a point. You get the Joint Chief of Staff, the head of the Joint Chief of Staff in Trinidad. He would have come in to talk one thing. But I said no, hell no. Reason why? Well, what details you want? When, how, where. That's the kind of details people want. And it touches a nerve on me because I remembered, some of you weren't wrong, maybe you were wrong, but maybe young at the time. But I remembered when at Mogadishu, when the Army Marine Force landed, CNN was right there on the beach, Bernie Shaw, and then they had that picture of someone being dragged through the streets. I'm talking about a U.S. personnel dragged through the streets, definitely dead, and so on. So that's why I said no. I mean, there's only one thing that they would have spoken of, the details, and that's like telling the enemy, "I'm coming. When, how, where, and when we're gonna do it." When you were talking earlier about the press, and Richard, you draw good points too, where you were saying that they just give you details, basic details, but nothing, thorough. But you guys were speaking about the press in Trinidad. I remember a time when Pandey said, "Don't buy the Guardian newspaper." And back then you didn't have social media. Just legacy media, was the dominant force then. And what the Guardian did is that they had a bunch of blank pages all throughout the newspaper, and they didn't run any ads. And they had a little caption in it saying, this was done due to ULF opposition leader Basdio Pandey saying not to purchase the Guardian newspaper. Maybe Mr. What's his name? The gentleman, the elderly gentleman, maybe he might remember it. One of your frequent callers. But then sometimes when we get at this stage, you sometimes forget if you're wearing pants like Joe Biden. So, hey guys, look. Have a good weekend, right? And talk to you guys soon.
Yeah, thanks very much.
That issue of Basdio Pandey and the Guardian went a little further. It caused an exodus from the newspaper, if you remember. Jones P. Madeira and others left. It also caused the opening of a new newspaper called
that's
Wire.
That's
how the Wire was formed. You understand? So it went a little further back then.
And from international news, just to keep it a little bit big, because I know we have international viewers, the Bolsonaro, the former president of Brazil, has started serving his 27 years. I saw a Rachel Maddow report. It was very interesting. And apparently he was under house arrest. And for many Brazilians, they didn't think that he would serve a day in jail, right? Even though he was sentenced to 27 years in prison. And of course, he was very leaning towards kind of Trumpian style of politics, Bolsonaro. And if you remember when he was the president of Brazil, and how we carry on, he was during COVID too, I think. And he was sentenced to 27 years. But he was under house arrest, and he was wearing an ankle monitor. And apparently on Saturday, his son had told people to come and protest by the president's house, by his house, the former president's house. And he tried to, he meddled with his ankle monitor. And the police came and they arrested him. But admitting that, well, that's it. Well, how does that contextualize anything? Well, apparently the U.S. embassy is about 8 miles away. And he's been trying to seek refuge in different embassies. But apparently, you have to put it in context that it was an interview with Donald Trump where the reporter was asking President Trump, what do you think about Bolsonaro being arrested? Meaning being arrested after he tried to meddle with his ankle monitor. And President Trump said, well, I spoke to him last night, and I'll be speaking to him very soon. We might even meet up or something like that along those lines. So it seemed as if there was, according to Rachel Maddow, it seemed as if there was some nexus of him meddling and maybe trying and having that protest in front of his house as a distraction to probably try to get to the U.S. embassy. But because the police intervened and rearrested him from house arrest and put him into prison, the judge basically say, start serving your sentence now.
Yeah.
27 years. Yeah.
You see how well these anchor monitors really work, and I don't know why it is that we are not using them probably more in Trinidad and Tobago with certain types of crimes and stuff. We could lessen a lot of things that are happening outside there, you know. But I think it has to reach a particular threshold for certain types of crimes in Trinidad and Tobago for somebody to have.
Don't we do it for sex offenders?
I am not too sure where it is, but in some other crimes,
I don't know that they have anchor monitors. If you have served your time or whatever, you may be on a registry, but you may not. If you have served your time, you have no anchor monitoring, and at least I know that I don't care. But you know, another question that came up yesterday was the issue of the PSA and if they were to get their 10%, and if it was, can they get it before Christmas?
Can you hold that? Sorry, 1 minute, Wendell. Richard, sorry. Let me just take this caller. Caller, good morning to you.
Good morning to Charles, Wendell, Richard.
Good morning.
Gentlemen, Wendell, Richard, I want to find out what gives America the right to determine who should be a government, who should run a country. Because, you know, looking at this Venezuela, America situation, does America have the right to tell Venezuela or Maduro that he should not run that country? Shouldn't that belong to the people of the country to say who they want to govern them and remove them when they should be removed?
Remember, there's something called the Monroe Doctrine. And you must be familiar with the Monroe Doctrine. And the Monroe Doctrine basically said, let me simplify it. The Europeans, you already deal with all this side. Western Hemisphere is ours. We will deal with any bacchanal on this side. Basically. Okay. And so it's kind of like an extension of that Monroe Doctrine, even though, of course, world politics has moved on and we're moving gradually, I guess, to a kind of multipolar world in a kind of way as emerging economies become stronger and stronger. But America has always affected its influence in this Western Hemisphere pursuant to that Monroe Doctrine. Look to what happened in Grenada, look what happened in Panama, look what happened in Nicaragua. It has always been that. Is it right, or from an international political point of view, that's where the argument lies, and people's right to self-determination. But it's made more complicated in terms of the situation in Venezuela and whether, in fact, they did have free and fair elections the last time when Maduro was elected. There was a lot of evidence that pointed that they did not win. So, which is why some Western European countries and stuff did not recognize the Maduro regime as winning that election. And remember, they didn't allow Ms. Machan to go up for that election. They concocted some reason why she couldn't run and stuff like that, and they sent up somebody else instead. So there's a lot of the politics in the country that's not meeting, I suppose, and seemingly not meeting free and fair elections. Now, of course, that's also an argument that people should still have the right to solve that problem themselves. You know, some people will look at it that way. So it's a complicated issue, but in terms of, if you're talking about America's right to intervene and whether they have such a right, I mean, completely from an international law point of view, no, you don't. But you live in an era in the Western Hemisphere where the dominant power has always flexed that muscle under the Monroe Doctrine.
Right. So this Monroe Doctrine, you know, it means that America could invade Venezuela and
No, it doesn't mean that, but it doesn't mean that, but it means
military warfare, saying that because of the close alliance to Russia, China, Iran, and these places, if America was to attack Venezuela, even though they are the most powerful military in the world, it is not going to be an in-and-out situation. It could be very brutal and bloody on both sides of the divide.
Yeah. But that's why nobody would want war. I'm not saying that the Americans are right, I'm just putting it in the context of the geopolitical system. And what you have to remember too is that they are building a case by designating Maduro and the group that apparently they are claiming is aligned to as a terrorist organization. And if you give them that designation, they're slowly building a case for which could say, well, okay, this gives us the right. But there's no apparent right that you could just intervene.
Richard. But before I go, what I want to find out, should Trinidad and Tobago be following them blindly as they are doing right now?
In my opinion, my opinion is that Trinidad and Tobago should try and remain as neutral as possible in anything like that, which has been our historical position since 1962. That we have tried to remain neutral. That's my position. Do our values lie more in terms of what the US stands for in terms of democracy and freedom of press? Yes, of course it does. But it doesn't mean that we have to be such an active participant in its issue. Because, of course, with that runs, there's an inherent risk in that. And now, I don't know if the government, the Kamala Persad government, is calculating that the risk is better to be absolutely supporting the US in this regard.
Clearly, that's how they say.
And that they're thinking that the interests of Trinidad and Tobago is best served aligning strongly with the United States. Now, they are the elected government, so they can make that choice.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have dissenting voices and differing opinions in the country, which is what this platform provides.
All right, Kola, good morning to you. Morning, gentlemen. Captain Rock. Well, it's good to hear your voice again, too. Listen, Richard, you're correct. Yeah, with the Monroe Doctrine and stuff like that, but that's been outdated now. And the fact that what's being fought about it is to show this outdated. This is why China, Russia, North Korea, and Iran have made themselves very, very present down there. And it's amazing to me up to this day how the media seems to be ignoring, saying that the Russian ships are there. They're not making the world really being aware of it, as though just the American boats are down there. Right now, everything is just a psychological warfare thing going on right now. America is not going to attack Venezuela because they're going to lose. They have loaded up Venezuela with enough missiles, which they sent to in August to drop in Israel from Iran. Iran has loaded up Venezuela with those missiles there. That's called hypersonic. And they will take down each and every ship out of the water that the US ships have down there. Understand? So they know they're not going to go in there and fight Venezuela right now. That's out of the picture. Donald Trump is not dumb. He's dumb, but he's not that dumb. The thing is, it's a psychological warfare going on, but the most disgraceful thing about it for me is Kamala Persad. How she has Trinidad involved in this thing. And now that lady is being arrested because she made a point for exercising her own freedom of speech. It's shameful. I'm losing much disrespect every day for that woman, Kamala Persad. The country doesn't belong to her or UNC. It belongs to her. She needs to hold a referendum. She's a talking point and making the whole Caribbean laugh at Trinidad right now. What's going on? It's shameful to sit out here and watch what's going on down there with that lady. Anyway, gentlemen, have a good day. Welcome back, Wendell.
Thanks, Captain Ron.
Yeah. I hear you, what you're saying about the involvement of Iran and Russia and China. But guess what? These countries are also interfering with their respective neighbors in the same kinds of ways. So that Monroe Doctrine that we're talking about, that the U.S. Which may be outdated as the international geopolitical landscape has, aged and progressed over the decades. But that same sort of thing still happens. Iran tries to influence in its area by its proxy wars. Russia does the same thing. Right now, Russia is in the middle of a war with Ukraine. How much resources does Russia really have to back up something that's so far away from them physically, one? And how much money does Russia have to really finance that? Because when you deploy forces across the world, it costs money, yeah? China,
and right now, actually, they are actually looking for people from other neighboring places to help them with that Ukraine situation.
Yeah, China probably has it. China also does their version of the Monroe Doctrine. I'm calling it Monroe Doctrine, just to mean interference and watching what they do in their area and how they jockey for positions, how they're building islands in different areas and putting in military installations. Everybody is guilty in terms of jockeying for that power, And the weaker countries militarily align themselves geopolitically, either trying to remain as neutral as possible, but also complaining about what is happening in the Asian Pacific and what is happening there, what is happening with the US. Some people may complain, some Latin American countries may not be in support. So there's that jockeying of the more powerful versus the not powerful. Where do I align myself? Do I remain as neutral as possible, which is what I think you try to do in navigating these geopolitical powers, because that's what it is. So all of those countries that they talk about, all of them doing the same things in their areas too,
Yeah, and Iran is not where they went in and they just bomb and fly out the other day.
Well, that's what I'm saying. They do their own things to Israel, I think, but Israel is also one that fights for its place in the Middle East too. So there's a lot of jockeying that goes across the world. Don't get excited by the word right now, but that goes across the planet in terms of situation. But beyond all of that, because they have experts that are much better at assessing all of this than me and us, who could give you much more insight. I'm just speaking from a general kind of perspective. But I wanted to just talk about the point before we go to the news, that the conversation came up yesterday about whether the government, if the PSA got the 10%, could they get it before Christmas? And where would they get the money from in terms of that? And I was talking about moving around money, but you probably have to go back to Parliament. And Imbert indicated that yesterday in the opposition media conference, that yes, they would probably have to go back, they'd have to come back to Parliament to get that additional funding. He referred to it as having a kind of second budget that now included that figure for them to get that funding to pay that additional funds, especially if they wanted to do it before Christmas. And I know a lot of people say, they can't pay it before Christmas because payday is early in Christmas, the 14th and 15th. It has nothing to do with payday. You don't have to keep it payday. Payday is your salary. Yeah. Back pay could be on the 23rd, if you understand what I'm saying. It could be it could be anywhere then. It doesn't have to hold to that payday. Payday is your salary. That's completely different to back pay that you're getting in terms of improved terms and conditions. But that's just it. We could go to our news now. I just wanted to mention that.
The news you need, the clarity you deserve. Local, regional, global. This is NETT Radio News Now.
This is News Now on New Era TT Radio and Gael Caribbean TV. I'm Derek. Good day. Prime Minister Kamala Persad-Bissessar met with Chairman of the U.S. Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Dan Kane, at the Diplomatic Center for talks on regional security and ongoing cooperation between Trinidad and Tobago and the United States. A statement after the meeting said, the Prime Minister outlined her government's approach to narco-trafficking, human trafficking, and transnational crime, stressing that Trinidad and Tobago remains committed to working closely with the U.S. to protect citizens and the wider Caribbean. Persid Besesser highlighted the long-standing ties between the two countries, noting that the partnership continues to grow through coordinated security initiatives and information sharing. General Kane acknowledged Trinidad and Tobago's important role in regional security discussions and praised local agencies for their work with U.S. counterparts. The meeting also explored future cooperation and plans for continued engagement between both governments as they target criminal networks operating across the region. The partner of murdered local government councillor Ramona Tinale Victor left a handwritten note expressing remorse and saying he could not live without her. The letter was read to Victor's father, who found the bodies of 36-year-old Victor and her partner, 45-year-old Rodney Ramsemer, on Sunday at their home off Quinham Branch Road in Superior. A post-mortem found that Victor died from blunt force trauma to the head and neck, while Ramsemer died from poisoning. Police recovered a bottle of herbicide and the handwritten note at the scene. Victor, a mother of one and a second-term UNC counselor for Superior East, San Francisco South, had recently been appointed to the board of Heritage Petroleum. Her parents said the couple shared a troubled 16-year relationship. Superior Mayor Dudnath Mehru visited the family and described Victor as a hardworking, dedicated representative, pledging support for funeral arrangements. A man who allegedly issued online death threats to opposition Senator Dr. Emery Brown has come forward to police. A senior officer confirmed to the Express that the suspect, accompanied by relatives, walked into a Western Division police station on Saturday, hours after Brown reported the threats. He was questioned but had not been charged up to last night as investigations continue. The threats were posted on Brown's own Facebook page. In a statement on Friday, he said it was the most serious threat he has received in nearly 20 years of political life and confirmed that a full report was made to the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. The profile that issued the threats displays a man's photograph, has about 40 friends, and shows no public posts after October 12, 2025. Commissioner of Police Alistair Guevara is warning social media users in Trinidad and Tobago that anyone who makes threats or tries to destabilize the country will face the full force of the law. In a release on November 25th, Guevara said the TTPS Cyber and Social Media Unit is actively monitoring online activity and collecting evidence. The warning comes just days after opposition Senator Dr. Emery Brown revealed Facebook threats to shoot him and his family. And last week, a Diego Martin woman was detained under a preventive detention order for allegedly inciting violence against Prime Minister Kamla Persad Besesser online. Guevara stressed that freedom of speech is no defense when posts cross into criminal behavior, noting that threats and incitement undermine national safety. He said the emergency powers regulations allow Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander to issue detention orders against anyone whose online posts encourage violence or invite external interference. Guevara urged citizens to stay responsible online, warning, "Don't take chain up. Your words today can have you in handcuffs tomorrow." The People's National Movement says it will refer Attorney General John Jeremy to the Privileges Committee over comments he made during a hot mic moment in Parliament on November 21st. Opposition Chief Whip Marvin Gonzalez says the AG must be held accountable for what he called a pattern of derogatory language in the House. A clip circulating online captures Jeremy saying, "Hush your mouth, boy. Why you ain't take your little man?" Gonzalez says the remark was unbecoming of an attorney general and disrespectful to elected MPs. He says he will file a privileges motion, adding that Jeremy has shown a political vendetta since entering office. Meanwhile, Colum Imbert says he is considering a separate referral against Prime Minister Kamla Persad Besesser after she told him she would cuff him down during Friday's debate. Imbert says he expects an apology, but Government House Leader Barry Patterath insists none will be given. The opposition says the dignity of Trinidad and Tobago's parliament is at stake. In international news, Russia launched heavy overnight strikes on Ukraine's capital, Kyiv, killing at least 7 people and hitting homes and energy sites. President Volodymyr Zelensky says more than 22 missiles and over 460 drones were fired, knocking out water, heat, and electricity in parts of the city. A second wave later hit another district, killing 4 more people. Ukraine also carried out major drone attacks on southern Russia, killing 3 in the Rostov region and damaging fuel and industrial sites. The surge in violence comes as the United States pushes renewed peace talks. U.S. Army Secretary Dan Driscoll met Russian officials in Abu Dhabi on Tuesday as part of discussions on a possible settlement. Ukrainian officials say the U.S. peace document is being streamlined, while Russia says it is waiting on the latest draft. European leaders warn the road to peace will be long, even as all sides say they want a deal to end the war that has now lasted nearly 4 years. And that's news at this time.
That was News Now. Stay informed with New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio.
Uh-oh, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
There's no Christmas like Christmas on New Era TT Radio.
The other day, I went Venezuela, and I fall in love with a señorita. I hardly know the lingo, but I really know what she know.
It's a time for giving, caring, and sharing.
It's things like this that get me mad. Who stole the rubbish from my yard?
A time for loving and remembering what really matters most. Greater than from our family to yours. Merry Christmas and a blessed season from New Era TT Radio. NETT Radio.
S&H Rumbox, 137 Western Main Road, St. James, for all your retail and wholesale needs for alcohol and non-alcoholic beverages. Call us at 686-0599 or visit us at 137 Western Main Road, St. James. S&H Rumbox, drinking out of the box.
Charmflair Auto Services Limited, your one-stop auto repair shop. Located at number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair, right opposite the brewery on the Eastern Main Road. Yes, we do it all. Repairs to all makes and models, from your everyday sedan to SUVs, light trucks, pickups, and panel vans. We're also the sole distributors of Davanti tires, certified VTS inspection station, plus a wide range of services: oil change, front end and suspension repairs, tune-ups, tire alignment, batteries, electrical work, radiator and cooling system, AC repairs, and accessories galore. We offer pickup and drop-off service too. Call us today at 662-6545 or 662-6572. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Charmflair Auto Services Limited, number 1 Industrial Lane, Charmflair. We do it all.
Black cake seller, pastel seller, ham and pepper sauce, candles of course, decor and jewelry, clothes for you and me, everything sell off.
This Christmas, come down to the Center of Excellence, Terrenia Hall on Sunday, November 30th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. for the Sell-Off Christmas Market. Over 100 local vendors bringing the best of Trinbago, food, fashion, crafts, and pure Christmas vibes. Brought to you by the Passers-by TT in partnership with the ODEM Global Group. Visit passersbytt.com for updates.
Ho, ho, ho! This Christmas, small businesses, this one's just for you. Get your brand, your product, your business in front of thousands every single day on New Era TT Radio, NETT Radio, and Gael Caribbean TV. And here's the gift you've been waiting for. Radio and television advertising has never been more affordable anywhere else. We are talking unbelievable real rates. Prices no one else can offer you for primetime slots that put your business right where your customers are watching and listening. So, call us today at 299-5156 and turn your Christmas into real results and real profits with affordable advertising so you too can say Merry Christmas.
Christmas is coming and theater is going. You don't need out to watch corn. It's down to one final performance. The #1 comedy of 2025 is coming to an end. One show only. Saturday the 6th of December at 8:30 p.m. at Sapa. Tickets available at K-Squared Fashion, C3 Center and Brentwood Mall. And at Friends of Marabella by the Roundabout. Tickets also available at the Sapa box office for 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. Don't miss the #1 play of 2025. You don't need foul to watch corn. Don't miss it.
Of course, this is where we come to the end of the breakfast show. I wanted to mention yesterday that I watched some of the opposition's media conference. I did watch some of it, and Colm Imbert made a great effort to explain what happened in that exchange of. When he said, when the Prime Minister said, "But don't point at me," and he said, "Why not?" And she said, "I'll cuff you down," which of course is now public knowledge. And of course, you could go and watch it. You could go on the parliamentary website and pull up the video from Friday if you want to watch it in real time. But what I thought Colm did very well yesterday was he explained exactly what happened, and because it wasn't clear why it erupted, and of course, Barry Paderat, the Minister of Public Utilities, said, she was constantly criticised being under attack or something like that. And then he said she stood up for everybody. However, they spun it. And I said yesterday it was spinning in terms of, because it was clear that it was not very parliamentary. It was not parliamentary, holding to parliamentary standards in what the Prime Minister said. And what Colin said was that they wanted a division of the voting. Where is it that you record exactly name by name who voted and how they voted in virtual assets bill? And he said that the bill that they were debating in Parliament had 12 clauses. And then when the government came, they did amendments to the bill, and he said the amendments were 14 pages. And he said he has never seen that in his parliamentary life. But the amendments amounted to 48 pages. So it was substantial. So he said the opposition was raising an objection and saying, well, this is a different bill to the one that we have. And we have had no notice of this bill. And for us to debate it with any degree of, because it's extensive amendments. All they had was 12 clauses. So that was one of the first issues. He went through in that opposition media conference to show that the Prime Minister was not there before the tea break. And she only came in after the tea break, and showed videos of it to substantiate this point from the parliamentary. And he said, but what happened is the Prime Minister was calling for the divisional vote, and he was also calling for it. So, but he said like the Speaker wasn't hearing that they were just going to vote yea or nay. So he said he got up and he said, Speaker, I don't know if you noticed, but we wanted the division of the votes. So you know exactly who voted. They wanted it identified. He said, so that's what we want. And the Prime Minister has also been asking for it, and apparently you're not hearing us. And he said, that's why he pointed. And she said, don't point at me. And he said, so well, why not? And that's when I'm sure he said it had nothing. He said nothing to her before. And that was all he was doing. He's trying to verify that both sides wanted it. And the Speaker actually didn't hear.
Yes.
And so he explained it, but I thought he really went through it very clearly in what took place. Yeah, in terms of explaining exactly what happened. Because I think a lot of people were confused as to how the exchange happened, but it was still unparliamentary language on behalf of the Prime Minister. And simply just apologize for it. You can't tell somebody I will cuff you down and then justify and try to spin it in all kind of directions. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
When I read it, I heard it, I said, surely that must be just across the floor peacock, and it might have been.
I thought it was not initially Wendell. You're right. I thought it was like they were joking.
Yeah.
You know, like you say something, I say, well, I'll cuff you down, you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was that.
Yeah. That's how I saw it. And the other is with the Attorney General with the hot mic situation.
Yeah.
You know, I listened to that.
And nobody seems to know who he was talking to.
No.
They don't know if it was somebody on your side or if it was somebody on the opposition side.
Or himself. People have talked to themselves too.
No, I think they're pushing it a little farther.
What? Who pushing it? What?
You have a voice now, Sir Charles. All of a sudden, you have a voice.
I was listening to you all the time. I don't comment. You know, yesterday when I tried to get you,
so let me ask you this, Sir Charles. You okay saying it to one of his members or a member on the opposite side, but not saying himself? You okay with that?
Say it again, Wendell. I cannot listen.
No, because you didn't say anything.
But let me caution you that I don't know what road you're going down. But see, some
No, it was just as you said, Richard, it's just a matter of caution.
So he must be talking to himself because we don't know who he was talking to. Didn't you say that, Richard?
Yes, they don't know if he was talking to a member of the opposition, or if he was talking to somebody on the government side in terms of the hot mic situation. Like, nobody seems to know.
And I just added in, he could have been talking to himself. And Sir Charles had a problem with that.
I don't think I really said it, but so.
But I always said it.
Or he could have been talking to himself.
It was just a matter of caution, Wendell. Wendell, it's not having a problem with it. Just a little caution sometimes, you know. That's all right.
But absolutely, obviously, he was not talking to himself because he was talking to somebody because he was saying, why don't hush up? Why don't shut up or something like that? But anyway.
That's not the first time hot mics caught people off guard.
No, I won't be the last.
Remember what happened to Sergio?
Yeah, I won't be the last.
Be aware of it. They really should be aware of that, I find.
I get caught on hot mics already. You take the mic off and the mic not off, and you're letting it go.
Right here on radio many a times.
It happens. Equipment malfunction, somebody forget to take off something and you're busy saying stuff that is not necessarily airworthy, on-airworthy. But anyway, I just want to remind people, let me get to my business. You don't leave foul to watch corn is on next week Saturday, our final show on the 6th of December at 8:30 p.m. in Sapa. So San Fernando, you're getting the final show. At Sapa, one show only. Tickets are already on sale at King Square Fashions in C3 Center and in Brentwood Mall and Friends of Marabella by the roundabout. Tickets will go on sale at the Sapa box office from Monday, the 1st of December, 12 noon to 6 p.m. daily. You can also purchase tickets online, RSRR Productions Theatre on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow the instructions on how to purchase tickets online. We're looking forward to a fantastic final show of this play. It's going to be kind of sad because we have been having such a fun time. And, you get like a family with each production that you do. So it's always a little sad when a show comes in. But that's it. And of course, it'll be our final show for 2025. And then we look forward to 2026. And of course, Carnival is early in 2026. So of course, theater will begin probably a little after Carnival. So that's it. So you don't leave out to watch corn. Do not miss it. Mm-hmm. Don't miss it.
All right. Well, as I said, people, as I said, Trinidad and Tobago and all that's happening is it's tiresome. I mean, I've been saying this for a while now, but it really has reached crisis positions with me, unfortunately. But I will get my act together. Don't worry. You know, I'll get my act together. So folks, have an absolutely today is the funeral of my cousin Richard Walcott. It's at the St. James Crematorium on Long Circular Road. It's at midday today. All right, Richard Walcott from St. James. Of course, many of you all would have known him. He passed a week ago, and he is to be cremated today. All right.
I say ice cream man, right?
Sorry?
I say ice cream man.
No. That's my cousin on the other side. Yeah, that's my cousin on the. Oh God, don't call the ice cream man that.
No, I call it that on the ice cream man.
No, that's my cousin. That's my cousin on the other side.
Oh, okay.
The Walcott side of the family. You know. Yeah. So, folks, have an absolutely wonderful day. The best of the day. It's sunny right now in Arima, so hopefully it will remain that way. And remember to let go and let God. Right?
Yep. All right. So have a fantastic
day, everybody.
Yeah, have a fantastic day. Whatever you do, remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health. Of course, tomorrow will be Thursday, and you know we love a Thursday, and we have a guest already for tomorrow. Already booked for tomorrow. Who we have tomorrow, Sir Charles?
Well, tomorrow we talk about the mayor of Arima.
Right, I remember. I couldn't remember it. Right. So we're talking to the mayor of Arima.
What happened?
I know apparently Sir Charles knows and the mayor knows because I don't know. So,
he's going to let us know what's happening in Arima. That's
what happened in Arima, Sir Charles?
Christmas coming, you never know. Things might be happening in Arima.
Oh, the goose getting fat.
Yeah, we might find out who have the goose too.
All right. We'll speak with Mayor Barry Ramaj tomorrow. I know he's going to be talking directly to Richard.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know.
My nephew, and who will say Uncle Bali. We know how the conversation went last time now. I'm sure it'll go no different this time.
I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see. Sir Charles organized it, so obviously he knows something about what they're going to discuss. So we let him take the lead on that interview tomorrow. So,
oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I know. I feel that they're planning that. Or plan that.
Have a fantastic day, people. You've been watching The Breakfast. Our apologies, of course. Let me just say our apologies for the technical difficulties on Gael Caribbean today. Because I don't think the sound was ever sorted out, was it? I don't think it was.
Yes, it was.
No, come on.
Come on, a little while now, actually.
But the thing now came on. But for a lot of the show, it wasn't there.
Yeah.
So apologies for that. Pick up to those of you watching it on Gael Caribbean in Trinidad to be going up the Caribbean. Hopefully it'll be much better tomorrow. So have a fantastic day.
Over on YouTube. That's what you need to do.
What's that?
I said they can watch it over on YouTube today.
Oh, they can do that too. And of course, continue to subscribe and a like on our YouTube channel. It helps and it will help us get monetized on YouTube too. So keep doing and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed on YouTube, do it now before you log off wherever you have to go. All right, so that's it for today. Have a fantastic day, whatever you do. This has been The Breakfast Show.
Yeah. Wake up, it's a brand new dawn. The Breakfast Show got the vibes turned on. From Maracas Bay to the Savannah line. Let's start the day in Caribbean prime. Oh, good vibes rolling through the air. The Breakfast Show.